All right, so the answers to the chapter 9 test. Question 1A. State the month. So guys, is summer a month?
Yes. I put that. I'm telling you.
I know, not just calling you out, calling out about, I'd say 30% of my students. Summer is not a month. So that had to be June. If you put summer, know that it hurt my heart a little bit to mark it wrong because you at least knew the earth science behind it, but summer's not a month. So know that you at least know your earth science if you wrote summer. Then where is the sun most intense? So it's most intense when it's coming directly overhead. Remember, directly overhead is a 90-degree angle. So we have, here's the land, land. The only place getting a 90-degree angle from the sun is right here. And what is this line? This is the Tropic of Cancer. So you could have put Tropic of Cancer as your answer, or 23.5 degrees north. If you didn't put the degrees north part, or you put degrees south, I had to mark it wrong. And then you could have done answer or question two different ways. You could have known this was summer and know that A is in the northern hemisphere, so A gets more daylight. Or if you just imagine this world turning along this axis right here, A will be in the sunshine this long and B only gets this long. So A is in the sunshine longer. So A gets more daylight than B. What? Oh, so you use more words. Yeah. I get down to what exactly I'm looking for. And more words are okay. Did you get it right? Yeah. One thing I want to be careful of is just saying it gets more or it gets less. Because you could have also wrote this as B gets less. But if you had just wrote it gets less, then you would have had to get it wrong because it said describe the length of day at point A compared to the length of day at point B. So you can't just answer these with like tiny sentences. I need at least a full thought. Don't use the word it. Tell me what it means. B gets less or A gets more. And then it says which one represents the Earth in its orbit 6 months later. So we already established this was June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we're talking about we're talking about winter. So then they're saying which one of these is winter? The answer is answer 4. Almost everybody who got it wrong picked 2. What's up with answer 2? So notice, yes, they flipped where the North Pole was. So instead of leaning towards the left-hand side of the paper, 2 is leaning towards the right side, with a lot of people are like, yeah, that's it. But what you had to notice is they also switched the side of the sun. Answer 2, this is truly a summer picture here. The Earth is leaning towards the sun. And remember number 3, that's leaning too far. That is not what the Earth looks like. All right, for the multiple choice, I'm going to go a little faster and then go back and go over any you want me to. So on the back of the first page, number 4 is C. Number 5 is B. Number 6 is A. 7 is D. 8, B. 9, C. 10, D. 11, A. 12, B. Did I mark one wrong? 5 is B. No way. Oh man, I screwed up. I hate when you guys prove me right. Can you give it to me at the end? Like put a little note there that that's the one that's wrong. 6 was A. You too. B. Anybody else think I screwed up? All right, then 13, C. 14, B. 15, C, 16A, 17A. Eighteen is D. 19A, 20C, 21D. D. 22A, 23D, 24A. And then the last page there, B, D. Look through, see which ones that you got wrong that you just don't know why you got it wrong. Which one? 24A. Okay, hang on, let me get this back to, so take a, make a note of that. There you go, Victoria, and I changed your answer, or I wrote down the correct answers. All right, so I heard 26. 26, so hey, what do you guys know about shadows? Okay, there's a shadow and there's light. So it has the opposite. So your shadow is opposite wherever the sun is. So if the sun's behind me, the shadow's in front of me. If the sun's shining in my eyes, the shadow is behind me. When is your shadow the longest? What time of day?
Afternoon.
Not just afternoon, but sunset or sunrise, when the sun is low in the sky. So in this picture, we have the sun rises here, gets a little higher at location 1. It's around noon at location 2, starts to set, getting lower in the sky at 3, and then sets here at 4. So it's lowest in the sky at number 4 at sunset. So that's why the answer is D. Longest shadows when the sun's lowest in the sky. Hang on one second, guys. Good afternoon. Hey, I was just wondering if the answer keys for the lab practical are in, or the answer booklets, I should say. Okay, hopefully the answer is yes. And while you're looking, you can pull them out because we're starting it tomorrow with a few kids. And they are not a secure material, so we can keep them. Okay, thanks. Bye. All right, any other ones? Yes, in fact, I was gonna go over 13, even if somebody didn't ask me. I was gonna do 13 and 15. Because these ones are weird because this graph, the temperature is hottest over here. So this is where it's the hottest temperature and this is where it's the coldest. So question 13 says, which of the following statements describes the general relationship between temperature and luminosity of the main sequence stars? So main sequence stars are only these stars on this line right here down the middle section. So with the main sequence, it either starts off with as temperature decreases or as temperature increases. We got to look to see what happens with the luminosity. So let's look at temperature decreasing. So that means we start hot and get cold. So that means we're going this way. Does the temperature stay the same as, does luminosity stay the same as temperature gets colder? As we go from this way over, it doesn't stay the same. Luminosity actually goes down. It starts off when it's hot, it's very bright. And when it's cold, the luminosity is very low. So as temperature decreases, does luminosity increase? No, as we get hotter, they get duller. So we're gonna look the other way. As temperature increases, does luminosity increase? Yes. As we go this way on the chart, these stars get brighter. So that's answer C. I'm guessing, did you pick B? Perfect wrong answer. So everybody who picked B, I know exactly what you thought. You thought the graph made sense. The graph doesn't make sense because it starts off hot and goes cold. No graphs ever do that. Graphs always start off cold and go hot, except for this one, because they tried to trick you and mess with your head. It did. It worked for a lot of people. If you picked B, their trick worked. Because you thought cold and then hot over here, and then it would have decreased, but it's not how it's written. So that's one of those cases of reading all the words, including the numbers on the chart. I don't know. And it's not just on the reference table that it goes with this. Any HR diagram shows it that way. Hello again. Okay, can I send Mr. D down to get them? Perfect. He's on his way in a little bit. Thanks. Bye. Mr. D. And then question 15, did you get that one wrong too? Yeah, almost everybody who got 13 wrong got 15 wrong. So not just to call you out, but almost everybody who got 13 got 15 wrong. So it says the star Aligo, no, never mind, we're on 15. It says this, which shows the stars in order of increasing temperature. So you probably made the same mistake thinking it was normal. So we wanted to go increasing temperature. By the way, those words, increasing temperature, do we start cold and go hot or start hot and go cold if we want increasing temperature? We start cold and get hot. So that means we got to be on this side and go this way on the chart. So it's just process of elimination. And it took me a while. So I started with answer A, and it says Protocyon B. And it says Alpha Centauri. Then it says Polaris. And then the last one was Betelgeuse. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one, did a bunch of you pick that one? A, did a bunch of people pick A for 15? So what happens there is that went from the smallest star up to a big star. So that one was increasing size, but that is not increasing temperature. So that made A wrong. They did not go in order this way. They went boom, 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 boom. B is then Regal, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Polaris, Aldebaran, and then where are we? Bernard. Did you guys pick that one? That is them tricking you because that goes from hot, pretty darn hot, to really cold. So that's the reverse. So again, if you pick that one, you at least know how to read a graph normally, but this one's messed up. So then the correct answer goes Bernard star, Polaris, Cirrus, and then I think this, nope, then Protocyon B. Wait, no, what was it? I'm sorry, then Regal. So going boom, 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 boom. They're all going closer to the hot side. So answer C is the correct answer. Are there any more we should go over besides questions 13 and 15? Everybody, 25? 25. So during which day of the year is the sun in the given diagram most likely up following this apparent path? So we've got October, which is a day in the fall, July, which is a day in the summer, December, which is in the day almost to winter, and March, which is almost spring. And they want to know which one it is. So it's hard to say by looking at just how high the sun, but how high is the star and the sun in the sky? It's pretty darn high. That's one way you could look. So it's pretty darn high. What time of year is the sun pretty high in the sky? Summer. That's one way you could tell. Another way you could tell is because the path is pretty long. And the other way you can tell is that the sun is rising in the northeast. And remember, just like old people, the sun comes back north for the summer. So That means the sun's back up north in the summer, just like old people. They go south for the winter, north for the summer. What'd your mom have to say? Interesting, really, but you won't forget, right? That's why I say things that are interesting. Perfect. No, I mean old people. I mean, birds do the same thing, but I talk about old people. Yeah, yeah. All right. Any more that we should go over? All right. So if you want to do test corrections on them, you need the orange sheet. These are all due by Monday. Oh, actually, it's not Monday. It'll all be due by Tuesday. I forgot today's not Monday. So Tuesday, June 7th. I know, I just forgot that. All right, so I put a couple of things out on your desks. Hopefully you had 3 different things. You should have had a full sheet of paper that says review homework 1-1. You should have a little test booklet that actually is the questions. And then you should have a little test booklet that is actually the answer booklet. Do you have all 3 of those things, or do you need another copy of something? But you need the other one? Okay, that's because I have a full size copy for you and I just don't know it. So don't leave without me giving it to you. It's somewhere. It's a disaster here today. So just so you know what's going on. This test booklet that says B2-2, I don't know why they didn't put the month on there, but this is the June 2021 test. This is the test that anyone taking the Earth Science Regents last year took. So you're going to do questions 1 through 25. We're going to hopefully have some time to get started in school today. Yeah, it's 25 questions. You'll be at home. You can take your time. You can look up the answers. Do really good. Pretend it's the real Regents. There is an answer sheet. So this separate packet, the back page is an answer sheet for you. So this is where you're going to put your answers to questions 1 through 25 back here. Yes, you can also circle them in the book, but I want your answers here. So June 2021, which is the V202 test. Questions number 1 through 25 are homework tonight. So what I recommend doing now that you wrote your homework on the top is sticking that in the test booklet, sticking out a little bit so you can see the answers. Put this somewhere where you can see what's for homework. Put this somewhere where you're not going to lose it. Then we're going to come to this packet, the 1-1 packet. I am giving you extra credit for finishing this packet. And by the way, the extra credit will be due on June 13th. Any extra credit will be due the last day of school. Oh, I guess I didn't see him come in the door. I just heard that door close. Weird. All right. So we're going to get started on this. We have 9 days of school left, counting today. Counting today. This is our 9th class day left. Now here's the kicker. Just so happens that we have 9 chapters to do that we did this year. So 9 days, 9 chapters. We're going to touch a little bit of chapter 1 today. Tomorrow we're going to review chapter 2. I think you get the point until we review chapter 9. What?
So next week, Friday is our last day of school.
No, sirree, Bob. Your last day of school is the week Monday after that. It's a Monday. Yep. Yep. Next week is your last full week. So we're going to touch on this first chapter. If you remember the first chapter, that's when we did observation, inference, prediction, and density stuff. The other thing is, so yes, this is homework, extra credit homework, but it's called studying. So if you don't know how to study, you're like, I know I should study, but I don't know how to study. Well, you could look through stuff, but here's like a guided way of studying. here is what I think you should be looking at. But you're like, well, what good is it if I don't know the answers? No, that would be no good. You're right. So what I did is I posted a video of me going over it on YouTube. Oh, wait, you could what? You could just copy. Totally. If you copy while listening to my words and write down the answers, you still get extra credit. Yeah, it sounds like cheating, but it also sounds like studying to me. So what? 12:55, I think.
What?
12:55. 12 minutes, extra credit. There's 33 questions. That's more than most of your homework. So if you happen to screw up and miss a homework, here's some extra credit to recover your homework grade. People who may have missed some homeworks along the way.
I actually do not.
It's, oh, so that's, okay. So if we have entered day, so there's 9 days left, 179, and you don't know how to get to these videos I post every day, you go to Teams. 180. You go to Teams. 171. Sorry, I did my math wrong. So you go to Teams, you go to your team. So this is third period. I'll go to ours. So you go to period, no, well, 8, 9, but it looks the same. Right here, it'll be listed, review 1-1, 1-2, because if you notice, if you turn the page, it's 1-2. And then if you turn the page again, it's 1-3. So it's there, extra credit. Basically 3 homeworks worth of extra credit in this page. It's called studying if you do it. Not making it due until the last day of school.
I'm going to do it.
So yeah, I think you should do it. I think everyone should do it. Yes, it'll help your grade, but that's a way of studying. If you have no idea how to study, that's one way. I'm not saying it's the only way, just saying it's a way. So let's get started on it so you don't have to do a whole boatload on your own. So here we go. I'm not going to do this whole front page. I'm going to make sure you remember observation, inference, prediction. So does everybody have this page? It's called Review Homework 1-1 in front of you. Yes. I skipped you too? Man, Riley, I must have something against you today. Wish I could find that test I printed. Perfect. All right. So let's start with, what is an observation? Sure. I'll turn all of them off. I think it's bright out. What is an observation?
Something you see.
Do you only have to see it?
Yes. Your 5 senses.
You can use your 5 senses. You could see it, smell it, taste it, feel it, or hear it. So it is, I guess, a statement, I guess. Using your 5 senses. Somebody give me an observation that they may have observed today. I have a plant in my window. That's no. So it's hot outside. Or some people may have noticed a smell in the hallway. Anybody notice that stink? It was a stinky smell. I don't think it was BO, but you could say there was a bad smell in the hallway, or there was a smell in the hallway. So what do we need in order to make an observation? 5 senses. Yeah, so okay. I meant 5 senses, but I know what you mean by you. So yeah. Answer the following question in a complete sentence and explain your reasoning. So by the way, if they say this on the Regents, which they won't say the complete sentence part, but they might say explain. And that means if you don't explain, you get a 0. Okay, so if they say to explain, make sure you do it. When you're using an instrument to measure something, are you still making an observation? So first of all, what the heck is an instrument? Don't say a tuba. A ruler is an example, but what is it? An instrument An instrument is a tool you use to extend your five senses. So we're extending our five senses. So Caitlin said a ruler is an instrument. So instead of saying, wow, that's a big rock. Now you get your ruler out and you say, wow, that rock is 1.5 feet diameter. So is it still an observation? Yes. So yes, because instrument just extends your senses. Cynthia, I think, said it's hot outside. So instead of saying it's hot outside, I will use my thermometer and tell you it is 85 degrees outside. Yeah. In fact, it might even be a little warmer because, well, it's probably true because my little sensor is right there between the screen and the window. I agree with that, but that is just an opinion. That is not. No, because then Ted would have whined that he was hot. What's an inference then? So we know an observation is a statement using our five senses. What's an inference? So I don't like the word educated guess. You guys are thinking a hypothesis when you say an educated guess. It is a guess. What kind of guess though? Right, based on an observation. So it can't just be something random. You can't just say, it's hot outside. Mrs. Ritz likes cats. You could say, yeah, or you could say, so you could notice that a whole bunch of you are wearing shorts. And then you could say it's hot outside. Then you look at Ted and you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on because Ted does not look like he's dressed for a hot outside day. Yeah, yes. We can look at some of our hair, mine included. We could also start to say it's humid outside, right, guys? With those of us with curly hair, it's humid outside. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, that has nothing to do with it. Thank you. No, it doesn't. In order to make an inference, what do you need to use? Can't just make a random inference. It's an inference based on a observation. So you have to have an observation first. Our inference is always correct. No, because if I was to make an inference by looking at Ted, Ted's wearing pants and a sweatshirt, I could make the inference that it's cold outside. But it's definitely wrong because Ted is not dressed for the weather. And a sweatshirt? Okay. What's the key about a prediction? We're not going to go with the explanation right now because we're running out of time, but what about a prediction? Thank you. It is a guess. About the future. However, it said using a complete sentence, using the word inference. Where would I put the word inference? It is an inference. So cross off guess, but make sure you can still see the word guess underneath it and put inference. Because a guess and an inference are basically the same thing. But the key word there is future. A future is coming up. Like it could be another minute from now, it could be another day from now, or another year from now, but it's not about 1,000,000 years ago. Yeah, that's a difficult one. What about cyclic? Happens in a cycle. And how about non-cyclic? Does not happen in a cycle. How about this? Which type of event, cyclic or non-cyclic, is easier to predict? Cyclic are easier to predict because they happen in a cycle. Other than an earthquake, give one example of a non-cyclic event. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. What'd you say? Volcanoes. Volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes. You can't. So it's non-cyclic. Now you can say, okay, there's probably going to be a volcano where there was already a volcano. So you can, and just like earthquakes, we know there's going to be an earthquake in California, but it's still non-cyclic because it doesn't happen in a cycle. We don't know. We can't go like it's going to happen every 10 years, every 27 and a half days or something like that. You could just say, hey, if you live in earthquake or if you live in California, be ready, but we don't know when. And then how about other than moon phases, give me another cyclic. Seasons. Sunrise, sunset, tides. Well, it's still not perfectly predictable because it doesn't always happen. You can cross off that whole bottom thing. All right, we're running out of time, but I want to see how many of these you can do. Let's give me an O if it's an observation, a P if it's a prediction, an I if it's an inference. Read a few of those. I'll give you, well, we only have like 2 minutes. Get as many done in 2 minutes as you can. Yeah, O for an observation, P for prediction, I for an inference. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the class. You're gonna have to wait till the end of class. I know that was not enough time for most of you. Let's go over a few of these. The first one's the one most people get wrong, so hopefully you got it right. The sample was transported by a glacier over 1 million years ago. Not a prediction. Why is it not a prediction? It already happened. It's not about the future. So it's an inference. And I didn't ask you to do the reason, but how would you have known it was an inference? Not just because it already happened, but what are you doing? You're guessing because you weren't there because it already happened. So I'm just going to write the reason because it's a guess. How about this one? Now, I should have mentioned you're standing there looking at the sample. So here's the sample. It is rectangular with sharp angular corners. Observation, because you see it. How about the water will become unsafe within 5 years? Prediction, why? It's about the future. Some of the snow on the glacier is powdery. Observation, because you're standing there looking at it, you can see it. The sample is 8 centimeters long, 5 centimeters wide, and 3 centimeters high. It is an observation. Yes, you're using an instrument, but again, you see it. Hot, humid conditions will continue throughout the week. Prediction, why? Guess about the future. There are many cracks in the glacier. Again, you're standing there, you're looking at it, you see the cracks in the glacier. That's an observation. The sample is white in color. Observation, you're standing there looking at it. A meteor impact caused the extinction of glaciers. You're guessing, so which one's a guess? Inference. The rocks in the glacier are different sizes. Observation, because you can see it. The rock is spherical and must have been transported by a stream. It is an inference. Now this part, the rock is spherical, was an observation. Then they made a guess because we know that rocks that are round are probably transported by a river. But it is still a guess. Somebody might have like carved it. And some parts of the glacier will start melting this spring. Prediction because it's about the future. All right, remember you still have homework. The homework is the June 2021, the B02. And you're doing questions 1 through 25. Plus remember, finish that packet for extra credit.